Hello, it's Ariel Ellis, author of The Original Millennial. So excited to bring to you another original millennial that we're featuring in the book. Feel free to go to theoriginalmillennial.com to sign up and subscribe to all of our news updates, as well as you can pre-order the book now. Currently, it's on pre-order for $5.99. But if you're seeing this video a little later on, then you'll see it when the book actually arrives. So we got plenty of great content. We've been interviewing some really interesting people, and I'm excited to bring to you so many awesome millennials who are making a lot of progress in business and community. And that's what this whole project is about. A lot of the discussion about millennials is all centered around us being slackers, entitled, narcissists, lazy, etc. But not a lot of conversation is centered around us being innovators and bold and risk takers and energetic and unapologetic problem solvers, going out and making change in the community as well as in business. So we're really excited to continue to bring you a series of entrepreneurs who we're featuring, to give you an opportunity to give them an opportunity rather to share their stories, and to give you an opportunity to see all the wonderful things that they're doing and what kind of contributions they're making. One of the key reasons why I decided to take on this project is the key stat that says that by 2025, and some researchers say by 2020, within the next 5 years, 75% of the workforce will be millennials, and they'll be in leadership. So what does that say for our communities, and then what does that say for our business world as well? It means that many of us are already poised for leadership, and some of us are still finding our way, but many of us are already doing the work. So I'm excited to bring to you someone who is really had an early start and has been doing the work for a very long time, even though she's rather young. Her name is Octavia Gilmore. She's founder and creative director of Creative Juice. It's a boutique design agency based in downtown Atlanta. Octavia first began designing at age 14, and her passion led her to attend Savannah College of Art and Design, where she graduated with a BFA in graphic design. She began to work in corporate design departments for Fortune 500 companies such as AT&T and Kaiser Permanente. She soon after opened Creative Juice, her own company, to provide custom solutions for new companies and corporate marketing departments. So she specializes in graphic design, web design, package design, print design, and marketing. So she's always had this passion for helping others and finding fulfillment in her work, because she's able to help companies communicate their message, and as a result, they're better able to communicate to their consumers, you and me. So let's welcome Octavia.
Hello.
Hey, Octavia, thank you for joining me for this chat.
Thanks for having me. I'm excited.
Yeah. So tell us, what's your story? How did you get to where you are?
As you mentioned, I started designing at a fairly young age, and I've always known that I kind of wanted to have my own business and have a brilliant design agency in a high rise in downtown Atlanta. So I went to school and kind of freelanced while I was in school. I was able to learn the ins and outs of kind of managing my own clients and learning about kind of being self-employed while freelancing in college. And then I was told by many people that were older than me that contract and freelance is not the way to go because it's not stable. There's no benefits. People can just fire you tomorrow. So that kind of scared me coming out of college. So I took a full-time position with a company, which was a startup company here in Atlanta. And I worked very, very closely with the CEO. And I kind of got a chance to see like how a small business runs. I learned a lot about like management and teamwork and stuff like that. And from being there for about a year, I kind of just felt like I'm working so hard to help my CEO who founded this company. It was his dream, achieve his goals. And I thought, well, what about my goals? So after being there for a year, I kind of just quit my job and just launched Creative Juice. And I've pretty much been doing that ever since.
Wow, that's interesting. Talk a little bit more about your transition and why you decided to leave corporate America and launch your own company?
Well, with corporate America, it's very cutthroat. It is very competitive, and I just didn't think it was the right environment for me. You know, being in that space, I kind of felt unfulfilled, or like this burning passion deep down inside that, I this wasn't where I needed to be. So, just me being the type of person that I am a very big risk taker. I'm very fearless and very bold. I just said, hey, if I'm going to work hard, I can work hard towards my own goals and aspirations. And I truly believe that, if you work hard, you will succeed regardless. So, it was pretty much an easy kind of decision for me to make. At the time, I was engaged, so I got the support of my now husband, because, coming out of school as millennials, we have a lot of student loans. So the biggest fear there was, like, how are you going to pay bills, and making sure that all of the bases were covered. So, I saved up money and kind of just went out and did my own thing. And luckily, because I was kind of freelancing since college, I was kind of able to have these clients kind of follow me, and they were really excited that I launched my own business. So they were very supportive at the end of the day and helping me kind of grow my business to the level that it needed to be so I could self-sustain working for myself.
Yeah, that's very important. One of the key things you said before you just answered the last question was that um, you were told not to go the freelance route.
Right.
When you were freelancing, what were those experiences? And then the transition into, building the actual agency.
Well, when you're freelancing, it's kind of like it's not that serious. You're doing it on the side. It's not your main income. So you don't take it as seriously, because it's not what's paying the bills at the end of the day. So that transition was kind of different for me because now this was like my lifeline and how I'm going to pay my bills. So it was just really taking it more seriously, being strategic about relationships that I had to build, and just really spending money smartly and wisely, living within my means and making sure that going off into this transition, I would still be able to kind of support myself. So it was difficult at first because transitioning into kind of running your own business, I am young, right? So I haven't been doing this for 50 years. I don't have a billion connections or people that I can just call to give me clients. I kind of had to do a lot of the groundwork myself, get out here and network and just really build relationships, and strategic partnerships and resources. That way, I could make sure that I had enough clients coming in, and then also managing my money, like I mentioned, making sure that I had enough saved up for bills to be paid, or that, I had enough clients coming in, so that everything was pretty much covered.
That's interesting. We were probably perhaps around the same age when we started our businesses. So my first business, I started at 22 and I started right out of college. And
Mm-hmm.
I have freelanced throughout college, and the transition into saying, hey, instead of doing this for some other company, I'm going
Mm-hmm.
to provide these services for my own clients and get my own. And a lot of it came for referral. But one of the key things that I was concerned about, because I was young and I was new to the industry, there were two key things that were concerned me. One was that, well, I'm young, and are people going to trust my expertise? Are they going to try to take advantage of me? Are they going to value me and my services as much as they would someone who has 10, 20 years of experience? And then the second thing that bothered me, or that I had a concern about, was being a woman, um,
Mm-hmm.
and perhaps trying to understand how to navigate the industry as a woman, as a business owner, as a woman who is young as well, but then also understanding what the industry is like for women in general who are entrepreneurs and dealing with any stereotypes or dealing with, trying to be negotiated out of my price and taking my price down or
Right.
quality of my work. So those two things um, were of high concern for me when I first started my first business at age 22. Were those things concerns for you, and how did you navigate them? And how would you advise another young woman who's interested in starting a business at that age to navigate the process?
Right. So honestly, at the very beginning, it wasn't a fear of mine just because I didn't know that those problems would arise. And eventually, no, I definitely struggle and still struggle with people respecting me as a business owner and that I am a professional and I kind of know what I'm doing. Even with my team, most of them are older than me. So when we go to like a networking event and we're introducing ourselves and I say I'm the owner of the company, people really look at me funny because they just don't believe it. So I think that one thing that was helpful for me was really verbalizing my expertise. Like I said, even now when I meet someone like at a networking event and I say what I do, they just say, "Oh, okay, cool." Like they think I'm cute or something like that, and they don't take me seriously. But honestly, when you take a look at our website, our work really does speak for itself. And you can really see the expertise that we have and how we are really strong designers. So, the first time I got a big client, I kind of use that to my advantage because people are always quick to ask, well, who have you worked with? So I always name drop the largest client or the client that that person would know because that instantly like helps me build that credibility. Or, they just assume that, I'm doing this for fun and they do want to slash my rates. So, I explain to them like, I'm running a business. At this point in my career, I have employees and I pay their salaries and they have families. So, it is important that we do charge what we're worth. So the advice I would give other entrepreneurs are to definitely stand your ground and make sure that you know, overcome those obstacles by just educating people. You are young and you haven't been doing this for 50 years, but that doesn't mean that you can't be good at your job. As millennials, we grew up in the era of technology and we're much more forward thinking. So for someone who's been doing something for 20 years, they might be stuck in their ways. For us, it could be a new project that we've never done before, but we're going to take a completely new, different approach to it that may be very untraditional, but can still work to achieve their goals because we have a different perspective.
Yeah, that's interesting. And I think that when we think about it in that way, we see what kind of leverage we have as millennials. When we think about how to use our influence, that's a great opportunity for leverage to know that we're probably going to come to the table with a different perspective. We're probably going to come to the table with, a certain level of energy, a certain
Mhm.
level of creativity. And not to say that others won't, but it's just our generation is so different and we're so varied in perspectives and techniques and styles and the way we approach things. It's always an opportunity to be a little bit more innovative than not. Talk a little bit more about how you merge profit and purpose. That's one of the great things that millennials are doing right now. What are some of the things that you are beyond just the day-to-day work the day-to-day work that you do? What are some of the things that you are extremely passionate about and you see how that plays off in your work?
Well, I'm very passionate kind of about giving back and helping people kind of live and pursue their goals. At the end of the day, when I look back at what I have accomplished at such a young age, I kind of shocks myself. So, we always have interns that work with us, and I'm very big on making them paid interns, no free work, and kind of talking with them to figure out kind of what are their long-term career goals or even short-term. So what are things that they kind of want to learn? And we're very big on being very hands on with them and kind of teaching them things that they need to know to kind of succeed in the real world. When we do our interviews, sometimes if I don't pick a particular student for an internship, I tell them why. I say, well, in the future, when you're showing me your work, you should explain your thought process or how'd you come up with those concepts, because that'll help them kind of in the future. Um,
Are you there, Octavia? Hello? Hello?
yes, I'm back.
Oh, are you okay?
Yeah, my Firefox just quit on me.
Oh,
So I had
okay.
to open it and restore it.
Well, we'll have to edit that out because
Okay.
it was a freeze frame and you were like, so so we'll have to have to chop this video, but it's cool. This won't go live until we're
Sorry
ready.
about that.
So okay, we'll go back. We'll jump into the next question. Um, what do you think? What do you think? You already talked about some of your. Let me start over. You already talked about some of your challenges, starting out as a business owner. What are your current challenges now? And are there any challenges that you think you're poised for right now as a millennial business owner that could happen in the future?
Some of my challenges are the same challenges that I kind of focused when or I kind of met when I first launched the business. So still people, not trusting us as a design agency because we are so young. Everyone on my team is millennials. So, the biggest thing is kind of growing the business. When you get to those larger ticketed projects and people are having to spend thousands of dollars with you, that's when you see like the um, hesitancy for spending that much money because the trust isn't there. So we do try to, like I said, educate potential clients and make sure that we are spreading our knowledge and expertise, so that they can trust us and they do know that we know what we're doing. Um, and then being a woman, just being respected in general. A lot of older males kind of don't take me seriously either. So those are like the main things that I'm struggling with now, and I've been struggling with from the beginning, that I don't necessarily have a solution for just yet. Sometimes I say, I wish I could look like I was 40, but I can't. At the end of the day, I'm a millennial and I have to wear it proud. And like I said, I'm pretty proud of what I've accomplished, and I'm going to continue to work hard to get those clients and to show people that we do a good job, and they should hire us for the job at the end of the day.
Right. Yeah, it's definitely a challenge, and even I've overcome. I'm an original millennial, I guess you could say. So I've overcome a lot of those challenges, but there's still some challenges to be, and obstacles to face as a business owner at any stage of life. But I realize that now, as millennials, as I was saying earlier, my expertise is now called upon because I'm a millennial, and
Right.
um, there's an opportunity to leverage that, as I said. And so I just think that the evolution is coming along, and that there are some challenges that we can kind of think about. Okay, this could be an issue. This could
Mm-hmm.
happen. But then also you just kind of never know what to be prepared for as well. But I do think that we have quite a bit of leverage now. What do you think, with some of the things that you've been able to accomplish most in your business? What do you think so far, whether it be a client kind of case study for us or something that you may have coming down the line later on? What are some of the things that you feel like you most proud of in accomplishing with your business?
I think I'm most proud of the fact that I was able to grow my business to the level that I've grown it to in such a short period of time. I'm able to, like I said, have a team that I pay a salary. One of my designers relocated to Atlanta for creative juice, so that was like a huge deal for me. Um, I'm very proud of just being business minded and smart enough to make the right business decisions, whether it's financially, building the right team for myself to kind of get my business to the level where it is. I think 80 or 90% of businesses fail in the first 2 years. And next year we'll be turning 3 years old. So I'm very proud to say that we didn't fail, and we're pretty much continuing to go strong. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Speak to some of the elements of culture that have influenced you the most. Of course, as a creative design agency, you're probably immersed in the story of a brand, right?
mhm.
So, and as a millennials, we've been exposed to the effects and the
Mhm.
results of branding and marketing from, I mean, from the very beginning of time in our generation. So speak to maybe some of the elements of culture, no matter what it is, that have influenced you the most.
I would
I would
definitely
definitely
say
say
internet
internet
and
and technology.
technology, without a doubt, hands on, because growing up in the era of the internet, I just feel like this is the best time to have grown up. Nowadays, when you need a resource or you don't know how to do something, you're Googling it, you're going on YouTube. If I wanted to learn how to knit, I just go on YouTube and find out how to do it. So I think the internet definitely has influenced me and just our generation as a whole, because whenever we have any challenges, we're easily able to go online and kind of look it up. And then it's affected us from the sense of, all of these different apps and revolutionary businesses that have came out, like Uber, just rethinking the way that things are traditionally done and coming up with innovative ideas to accomplish the same goals. So definitely kind of the internet and technology in general. And also, I would say having a sense of community is very important to me as well. So I do have several groups that I'm a part of where we can bounce ideas back and forth from each other and help each other when we are coming up with solutions for companies, or if we need ideas or how to grow our business, we can kind of be a support system to each other. So I'm really big on kind of having that community to help me, because those business owners are also millennials and we're all facing the same challenges, and it's just interesting to see kind of the situations that they've been in and kind of how they deal with that as well, or how they think differently from me. So
So it seems as if, because you've decided to hire millennials to work in your agency, and of course you're a millennial, so you're running the agency as the owner. It seems as if you all, maybe that you did that intentionally, perhaps,
mhm.
right? What's that been like with as an agency that's completely ran by millennials, and how do you package that?
So I try to hire older people, and we we use a lot of technology, so it's kind of hard to keep up with us. We move very quickly. We expect things a certain way, because we're just used to the ease of different things based on how technology has progressed. So um, there was a barrier there of kind of understanding from a different perspective. Even with our clients, some of our older clients, they prefer to meet in person all the time. And us as millennials, we're really big on email. We don't feel like we have to have a sit down conversation in person. So we always have to adjust and speak differently to different clients depending on kind of what generation they are. And that's very important. And then, just us being all millennials, we relate very well. We get along very well. We're kind of like a family, and we go to events together. We have fun together. And not saying that, we couldn't do that if we were different age ranges. It's just we relate better, or we relate to each other more easily because we have the same interests and
Now,
challenges, such as student loans.
yeah, you're not the first original millennial that I've interviewed who lamented about student loans. But now talk a little bit more about that. We mentioned challenges and plans going forward. Talk a
Mhm.
little bit more about your future for your business. Do you intend to, and integrating the younger generation, so 10 years from now, where that 75%, as I mentioned earlier, of millennials will be in the workplace or leadership, in leadership roles in the workplace. What
Mhm.
about that next generation, and how do you anticipate perhaps rolling in that next generation of talent into your business?
Right. So I think the plural generation, I believe that's what they're called, they're so interesting. You know, while the millennials grew up in a time of technology, we kind of had to learn all of these new things. So when apps came out and iPhones and MP3 players, we had to learn all this. It wasn't like normal to us, but the plurals, that's normal to them. They know that stuff like the back of their hands and they kind of expect that stuff to be there. Being a millennial business owner and working with businesses of all different sizes, I kind of do value that fresh approach that a younger generation can bring to the table. So I think even as my company grows, I would always have that young, fresh talent on my team because I understand kind of how their different perspective can kind of maybe help take my business to the next level or bring ideas to the table that we don't think about because we're in a different generation. So I definitely think that moving forward, I would continue to hire probably the next generation, maybe 10 years out from now.
Sounds good. Talk about, you mentioned earlier about your community of other millennial or
Mhm.
other original millennials who are business owners, and what that community, how that empowerment exists in your community. It seems as if there's a theme throughout amongst original millennials, and our need to be able to connect well with each other, to have relationships that are beyond surface level, relationships that are really impactful, not only for us personally, but definitely in our business, so that we can kind of cheer each other on. Why is empowerment so essential for us?
I think it's essential for us because, we are the largest generation in the labor force currently. And as you mentioned, we are the future leaders, if not currently. We're going to college, we're getting these degrees, we're getting jobs. We are very passionate about what we care about. We're very quick to kind of leave a job if even if it pays well, if we don't feel like it's self-fulfilling. So I think it's important to kind of have that support system and empowerment because even though we are young, we are capable of making decisions on our own and we are forward thinking and we're easily able to adapt to change because we've experienced it our entire lives. So
That's awesome. Yes, we have, and we've experienced in so many different ways. And I think that lends to us being able to give each other a lot of encouragement and a lot of
mhm.
resources and share our stories. I think that perhaps we also networking. I mean, networking became a huge thing, you know, in the 80s, really, more than anything. And being able to have, like, creating that young professionals demographic
Mhm.
that came up like late 90s, early 2000s, in organizations realizing that the millennial generation was coming up. And
Right.
so, and that we value, really the Gen Xers, late Gen Xers valuing relationships, and it just kind of trickled down and blew up in our
Mhm.
generation. We really appreciate collaboration. We appreciate dialogue and things of that nature. And we're not the me generation that people think that we are so much. So
Right.
what do you think overall makes you an original millennial?
I think that my hard work and dedication, kind of which has gotten me to where I am, is kind of what makes me original millennial. Despite what people think about millennials, We aren't lazy, we do have a purpose, and we just want to feel fulfilled at the end of the day. I'm very big on customer service. If I'm giving you my money, then I feel like you should treat me well, or my loyalty should be rewarded. So while people think millennials aren't loyal, we definitely are, but to causes that we actually believe in. So I think that my creativity, my hard work, and kind of my accomplishments make me original, because I was able to start a business at such a young age and be fearful and just work really, really hard. And I continue to work hard. And like I said, make business decisions that, people older than me are struggling with. And I struggle with them too, but I'm reaching out to people who are older than me, because I want to be ahead of them when I'm their age, essentially, learning as much as I can from my mentors, who tell me all the time they wish they started as young as me. So I'm very big on like educating myself and learning as much as I can at a young age, so that I can make mistakes now and kind of avoid those mistakes in the future.
That's awesome. That's so awesome. I understand and totally know where you're coming from. All right, last question, Octavia. This is the most important question.
Okay.
What song makes you an original millennial? Or what song do you feel like defines you as an original millennial?
The song that I kind of just immediately stood out in my head was "We Are Young" by Fun. I love that song and I relate to it. So it's about just living life, no regrets, being bold, and kind of just being happy. So,
Yeah, I agree. Thank you. Thank you so much for joining. I'm so excited to continue to talk to more and more people like you, Octavia, and include you in this thought leadership series, as well as to share this content with everybody else who may be accessing it. You can go to theoriginalmillennial.com to learn more about Octavia, hear more about her story, and all the other original millennials who are fascinating, absolutely fascinating, that we've talked to in this thought leadership series. You can also learn more about Octavia. Octavia, with her Twitter, Facebook, etc. You want to kind of plug your company and all your social media handles?
sure, sure. So you can find us online at itscreativejuice.com. And we're very, very active on social media, of course. So we're on Instagram. Our Instagram name is It's Creative Juice. We're on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is It's_creative. And then you can subscribe to our YouTube channel, or follow or like us on Facebook, and just search Creative Juice.
Awesome. Thank you. So you guys go find Octavia, find her company, Creative Juice, follow them and see all the good stuff that they're doing and all the content that they're producing and all the brands that they're impacting. And also go to theoriginalmillennial.com to get more feedback or share your feedback rather about this thought leadership series. Feel free, if you've seen any other videos, if you've seen this video with Octavia, if you're watching it, feel free to reach out to her directly, or to reach out to me, to reach any of the other original millennials, or to reach me in general, to talk about the impact that we're making and what we can do perhaps with your businesses and what we can do with your community organizations, etc. Also, if you're watching this, you can order the book at originalmillennial.com. You can follow us on Twitter at the OG Millennial. We're also on Facebook at The Original Millennial. And again, we're so excited to launch this series and continue to share so many wonderful stories from original millennials who are leaders in business and community. And stay tuned for more soon. Thank you.